Welcome to A Better You podcast. Let's start today to develop a better you. This podcast takes on life's challenges and obstacles, such as overcoming addictions, behaviors, midlife career changes, to keeping your family together. The show that gives you take-home assignments to overcome obstacles of the week. Receive godly wisdom for a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life with Anthony McFarland. Let's get started with crafting a better you.
Our guest today, as a firefighter and emergency medical technician, EMT, for over 32 years, Dr. Romeo Brooks has seen an overwhelming amount of unnecessary pain and suffering. His quest for knowledge in the field of health was initiated after his father passed away from emphysema and his mother from a blocked intestine and kidney failure. As a result, Dr. Romeo Brooks studied to become an iridologist, natural hygienist, herbalist, and earned a PhD in naturopathic medicine. Dear friend of mine, longtime friend, and his products are also now featured on our platform on kojishop.net. And so that we will have with us today, Dr. Romeo Brooks. And my next special guest, reigning from the great state of Arkansas, is Miss Cassandra Hill, who was once a patient herself turned powerhouse, who travels the world administering the knowledge and treatment of holistic health. After being diagnosed herself with systemic lupus and other autoimmune conditions in 2014, she gained the determination to overcome the illness in her body, thank God. And already an influent professional with a master's degree in gerontology and a bachelor's degree in social work. This illness would make her a student yet again. Her frustration with being sick motivated Cassandra to fight back, driving her to take courses on health and wellness, carefully applying the knowledge to her life. Again, with us today, Dr. Romeo Brooks and Miss Cassandra Hill from Arkansas. Dr. Romeo's from California. Cassandra is from Arkansas. Well, team partners, why should people consider naturopathic medicine or holistic healthcare? I think that's the first question that many people need to understand, why this alternative path should be their first option before going directly to medicine.
Yeah.
I can jump right in. You want to do all things as natural as possible. I was, like you said earlier, I was on the fire department for 32 years, and I've seen people with all kinds of problems. And what kind of got me on the path was, everyone in my family that was dying. I had 6 sisters and 5 brothers. I was number 10. We're welfare recipients, so I grew up on biscuits and syrup. Believe it or not, I used to walk back from 92nd Elementary School and put some tap water in a mayonnaise jar, pour in some sugar, stir it up and drink it. Then I drink an extra glass of water just to fill up and walk back to school. That was my lunch.
Wow.
But, on welfare, you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. You got 12 kids and 2 parents. That's not going to go very far. So we had days of just trying to make ends meet. But anyway, long story short, I went to school. When I got on the fire department, my father died of high blood pressure and emphysema. 2 years later, my mother, high blood pressure, blocked kidney, blocked ileocecal valve, and kidney failure. And then my oldest brother, Willie, had his leg amputated from high blood pressure and diabetes, and he died of kidney failure. And then my older sister, Laura, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney failure, and died. And my brother, Doug, 2 strokes, high blood pressure, diabetes, with kidney failure, and died. Then my brother, Michael, who was just 13 months above me, had his foot amputated, high blood pressure, diabetes, with kidney failure, and died. And then my youngest brother, Stephen, was number 12 in the family. He had high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure. But we found out later he didn't drink water for a year. He drank Orange Crush.
Wow.
And I tell people all the time, it's like, it can't work like that. So, but you know what really turned me around? I took this lady to the hospital on the ambulance. She had literally 2 shopping bags and a shoebox full of medications. I took her to the hospital. Literally 2 weeks later, she got 4 more additional meds and was calling me to take her back to the hospital. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Literally, you cannot poison the body into health. You cannot take more and more toxic drugs, put them in an already toxic body and expect it to improve. And all of this happened in a flash. I said to myself, if drugs can make an already sick person healthy, then they should make a healthy person even healthier. And that's not gonna happen. So think about it. If you got literally 2 shopping bags and a shoebox full of meds, and meds are supposed to improve your health, how do you keep adding additional meds and additional meds and additional meds? And so that's what set me on my path. And here I am today. And the reason why you should take things naturally is because we came out of the earth. And when you come out of the earth, you got to remain in the earth and partake of the earth in order to live. And that's why I have on my t-shirt today. You can't poison the body into health.
Yes.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. Listen, if chemotherapy, radiation, and tamoxifen is the answer to cancer, let's all go get some right now so we'll never have cancer.
Yes.
Doesn't sound right, does it? No one has high blood pressure because of a lack of hydrochlorothiazide, verapamil, clonidine, atenolol. No one has high cholesterol because of a lack of Lipitor or Crestor. No one has a headache because of a lack of aspirin. Drugs have nothing to do with health.
Right.
Health, this is what I argue in my book. I wrote a book called Body Intelligence. My argument is simple. Sickness and disease is simply the body making requests based upon its needs. It's not asking for a drug. It's trying to say, hello, Pastor McFarland, stop doing what you've been doing to cause me to signal you in this way.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if we can cultivate a relationship with our bodies because it's making a request based upon its needs 24/7. See, we understand when we're too hot, if we're too cold. We understand if you're thirsty, you're hungry. Those are symptoms.
Yeah.
We just don't consider them symptoms. When you have, if you're, like I said, if you're hot, if you're cold, if you're hungry, if you're thirsty, and you got to answer those things. If you're too hot, you go cool off. If you're too cold, you go warm up. If you're thirsty, you go drink. If you're hungry, you go eat. But what about if you have the urge to urinate or defecate? Well, if you have the urge to urinate and you ignore it, keep ignoring it and see what happens.
Right.
You're gonna start bouncing around until you answer the body correctly, and then all of those symptoms leave. But they are symptoms. You got to understand that.
That's good.
It's just the body speaking to you on a cellular level.
That's good. Cassandra, why health and wellness?
I agree with quite a bit of what Dr. Brooks said. For me, for a long time, I did buy into drugs because in my formal education, studying to become a gerontologist, that's what I was taught.
Yes.
But, I never saw people improve. Especially in that industry, I was working with older adults and they're on all this medication, and it's like one contradicts the other. However, I never realized there were other options until my health failed. And when my health failed, initially I went the pharmaceutical route, but I wasn't getting any better because like you mentioned, doing chemo drugs, and that's what I was doing. Chemo drugs was the treatment the doctor recommended, and I'm like, I'm taking this and I'm getting worse, so something's not right. So one thing I can say about holistic modalities, it gets more to the root of the problem. So let's say if you have type 2 diabetes, taking metformin from now till forever is not going to cure you from type 2 diabetes. But if you get to the root of it, what's causing that insulin to not properly be balanced in your body through a holistic effort, for some people, it could be something as simple as taking cinnamon. That for some people, and I've seen it where their type 2 diabetes was reversed. So with holistic modalities, it actually gets to the root of the problem. And then the biggest benefit, the side effects. I'm sure everyone's listened to that commercial and you've heard it. Have you or your loved one taken, just fill in the blank, whatever medication you may be entitled to this? Plants won't do that because it's from the earth. It's what we should be feeding
What
ourselves
God created
anyway.
for us. Yes.
That's what it's created for. Even in our diets, about half of our diet should be fruit and vegetables. So when we're giving our bodies holistic things like essential oils, like fruit, veggies, all these plants, we're just giving our body what it needs and it knows what to do with it.
That's good. That brings me to this question for you all. What are some of the basic things that people can do to keep their bodies healthy? For example, how important, and I know where Dr. Romeo is on this because we take his product, but how important is detoxing? And how important is detoxing? But again, what are some of the things that people can do to keep their bodies healthy?
Well, let me say off the bat that your health, if you will, your health is a demonstration of what you eat, drink, breathe in, put on the skin, and what you think, feel, and believe. That's it. Your health is a demonstration of what you're doing. I mean, if you plant an apple seed, you're going to get an apple tree. You can't plant an apple seed and pray for a peach tree.
Right.
It's not going to happen. We hear the law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. Sowing is reaping, reaping is sowing. Well, that in 21st century language, that's the law of cause and effect. So if you have a problem, think about it. What you eat, drink, breathe in, put on the skin, think, feel, and believe. Well, what are you ingesting? What do you put in your body?
What you've been sowing.
Yeah, your body's just going to tell you what you're doing. It's got to demonstrate it to you one way or the other. And so I'll talk about it. If you think of your body as a bunch of cells bathing in two fluids, which are blood and lymphatic fluid, imagine, let's say, for example, imagine 100 fish in a fish tank representing your cells. Okay, the fish are in the water, that's obvious, but the water is also in the fish. That's how our cells are saturated by blood and lymph. Okay, now we feed the fish 1 meal, 2 meals, 3 meals a day, plus snacks and all of the grains, potatoes and sugars and starches and all that stuff. But where does this food go? It goes to the bottom of the tank and it decomposes, it rots. Well, of course, the fish will eat some of the food and they'll poop. That poop goes to the bottom of the tank and decomposes. And then the fish tank gets poopy and stinky and murky, and then some of the fish die and go to the bottom of the tank and decompose. Well, that's what happens in the body every day. We end up with undigested food, cellular poop, and those are the words I'm going to use because our cells poop like we do.
Right.
And then you have the dead cells themselves. We don't think about it, but what happens to your dead liver cells, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas cells, ovarian cells, uterine cells, testicular cells, prostate cells, brain cells, lung cells? If they're not eliminated, they're accumulated. So you got this poopy fish tank, and what the culture wants to do is to put drugs in the poopy fish tank to improve the life of the fish. It's not going to happen.
Won't work.
My contention is change the water, clean the fluids, detox, change the water, and all of a sudden the fish will thrive. Your cells will thrive when you clean the fluids. That's all I do. And it's funny that Cassandra was saying what she's saying about getting to the root of the problem because that's exactly it. The name of my business is Roots Nutrition. I might get to the root of the problem. I'm telling you, if your smoke detector is going off, you can get a drug, which is like putting a hammer to the smoke detector. Yeah, you can stop the sign, the signal, the symptom, but you haven't gotten rid of the smoke or the fire causing the smoke. So it burns it to the next room, sets up another detector, and you get another drug, and you smash that detector. And it burns it to the next room and sets up another detector. And then the doctor said, you know what? I think we better do surgery. So the next detector, they cut it out and throw it away. You still haven't gotten rid of the smoke or the fire causing the smoke. See? And then when someone gets smarter, they say, oh, it's the smoke that's causing the detector to go off. But see, even the smoke is not the root of the problem. Then you put the fire out, the smoke dissipates, and the detector stops on its own. That's what you got to do. Get to the root of the problem. Yes, we got to detox, change the water, clean the fluids, because we see the body is alkaline by design, but it's acid by function. So just respiration, digestion, circulation, elimination, just moving around in the earth. Remember, eat, drink, breathe in, put on the skin, think, feel, and believe. Well, people know about acid foods and fluids, but they don't think about acid thoughts, acid emotions, acid belief systems.
Yes.
You know, we drive an acid distance to an acid job to get acid pay to drive back to an acid household, to an acid spouse and acid kids.
Woo!
I mean, I'm serious. We're living this acid life. How come? It's not gonna happen. You gotta detox. You got that's all it is.
Cassandra, come on, chime in.
Oh yeah, detoxing. You know, the first thing I did in alleviating systemic lupus within my body was a detox. Detoxing just removes, you know, it's not possible. Let's say you wanted to build a home, you wouldn't go to the beach and just build on that sand because it doesn't have a firm foundation. In our body, in order to build wealth, you can't build wealth and health in a body that's full of toxins. It's just not possible. So and I know a lot of people think, well, my liver and kidney and, you know, basically your GI system, your gastrointestinal system, it'll take care of it. But no, you need to detox, a full body detox. There are a lot of products on the market. Choose wisely. You want to pick something that's definitely organic, vegan. You can't detox with toxins. Generally, when I detox, also you want to pay attention to what you're eating, drinking. For me, I'm generally drinking water, drinking my smoothies, in which I drink all the time anyway. But you don't want to add toxins to your body. Detoxing, it's not just from the food and drink, it's also, especially for us women, we put so much on our skin, face, you know, all that gets into our body, you know, so pay attention to all that. For the average person in this day and time, I would say at least once a quarter, at least once a quarter. It really should be more, but I know for a lot of people, like I mentioned, during your detox, you want to make sure you're getting in those fruits and veggies. The best detoxes are done without the meats, in my humble opinion. And so you want to do that at least.
Keep eating meat. No, you got to cut the meat out. The meat is an enemy.
So yeah. So for at least once every quarter, detoxing your body, you'll see results, especially for us women. A lot of people ask me, do you wear makeup? No, I don't. My skin is
it's amazing.
clear, just like how it without the makeup.
That's great. Yeah.
So you'll notice improved skin, your complexion. You'll notice it helps with your collagen. And I mean, those are some beauty benefits, but most importantly, the changes with your body physically, huge benefits. So detox, get rid of those toxins so you can have that firm foundation to build health, because you could eat all the leafy greens, drink all the smoothies, but if you hadn't gotten rid of the junk, it won't do you any good.
What can people do? You know, we're at the end, quote unquote, of COVID-19. What can people do to build up their immune systems? We know that the majority of people have taken the vaccine, and there are a certain percentage of people who have not. What can people do to build up their immune system so that they don't need these, well, I won't even say that because that'll be a controversial statement. I try to keep my personal views.
Well, I'll tell you what, whether you choose to take the vaccine or not, the vaccine is not 100%. You can get the vaccine, it's your choice. If you decide to take, you can get the vaccine and still get COVID-19. So please take care of your immune health. I know one thing I've been doing, because I am in that pre-existing condition category since I was diagnosed with systemic lupus. Although I'm in remission, I'm still considered high risk. So you definitely want to get, for me, antivirals. I'm getting my double dose of essential oils. I'm getting my tea tree in. I'm getting my frankincense in. You definitely want to consult with a professional before you take those essential oils internally. But that's really, really important, as Dr. Brooks already mentioned.
But that's one of the areas that you specialize in, is the essential oils.
Yes, I have been certified in aromatherapy through California State University, actually.
Okay.
But really important, that you want to get those antivirus in, that you won't have any side effects. No, and I'm not trying to influence anyone's decision one way or the other, but
right.
You know, doing that will help your body be more resistant to viruses and bacteria. And then also just keeping that body alkaline, as Dr. Brooks mentioned, drinking that alkaline water, like a Life water or core hydration, just whatever works for you, and beefing up your fruits and veggies, because that's where you're primarily are going to get the foods that's going to help your body stay alkaline.
Dr. Romeo?
See, I am controversial. I am trying to influence you. I'm telling you, you can't poison the body into health. What is this with the vaccine? It's not going to stop anything. This thing is so new. You don't know the short or long-term consequences of taking this stuff. You don't know what's in it. Mercury, SARS, MERS, HIV, some nanoparticles, this or that, something to turn up. Who knows what it is? I don't take any of that stuff. I don't take flu shots. I don't take any of that stuff. I'm 66 years old. I can do anything I did at 26. Come on.
Come on.
I'm not an anomaly. I'm a regular guy. I grew up on biscuits and syrup.
Right.
It's like you have to change. Listen, if you change the way you think of things, the things you think of change. You're talking about boosting your immune system. That's your lymphatic system. It's the sewage system in the body. You have almost like 4 times as much lymph fluid as you have blood. So the blood feeds the cells, but it's the lymph fluid that carries the waste away from the cells, and the nerves move the cells. So I call it the trinity of the cells: blood flow, lymph flow, and nerve flow. When you have those things obstructed in any kind of way, any kind of blockages, occlusions, obstructions, adhesions, encumbrances, when you obstruct those things, you're gonna have a problem. And the problem is demonstrated in your health, or what we call sickness and disease. See, my thing, the whole thing, what we call sickness and disease, it's a good thing. That's my argument. It's because the body's letting you know, okay, whoa, hold up, back up, turn around, repent. Let's say that. Go 180 degrees the other way. If you're going east and you're getting sicker and sicker, do an about face and watch what happens.
Right.
And Cassandra was saying it. If we were in the Garden of Eden, what would we eat? Fruits, vegetables, sprouts, nuts, and seeds.
Right.
You think you're going to get sick eating that? But you know what? I mean, it can still build a residue, but you still want to flush things out because, see, the culture says you are what you eat. And I get that. But see, my argument is you're not just what you eat, you are what you don't eliminate. If it's not eliminated, it's accumulated. And when it's accumulated, it creates those obstructions on a cellular level. See, we relegate constipation to the colon. I started to call my book The Constipation Proclamation. Because that's what it comes down to. See, when the cells get constipated, it doesn't register in your nervous system. But after so many cells get constipated, it causes tissue constipation, which ultimately causes organ constipation. and then it registers in your nervous system as a sign or a symptom, and then you go to the doctor for a drug. But that's not the root of the problem. It's what you've been doing on a cellular level. So you need to get listen, your cells are like you repeated 100 trillion times. Maybe this is the image that people need. Listen, your cells eat, they drink, they breathe, they poop, they get pissed off like you do. Your cells have memory and imagination. That's why you look like your parents and not like my parents. But your cells have consciousness. I know this sounds a little esoteric, but your cells have consciousness. Your cells think and deliberates and makes decisions 24/7. But the only way they can speak to you is through signs and symptoms. So when you're talking about building your immune system up, I can guarantee you staying at home, sitting on the couch, Netflixing and chilling, eating all your kids' snacks is not gonna boost your immune system. You gotta move your body. So this is my argument. Yes, I am controversial. Everything they're telling you is the worst thing in the world for your immune system. I ask people, listen, if you stay at home, is that gonna increase your blood flow or decrease your blood flow? Decrease. If you don't get any vitamin D, you don't get out in the sun, you don't get light. Woo! How do plants make their fuel? Through photosynthesis. So you got to get sun. You got to get it just like the plants do.
Nutrients, right.
Yes, you got to eat it. What color is the planet? It's green. So yeah, we need to get more green in than anything else. We need to get this life in. Without the sun on the planet, there would be no life. So yes, you need vitamin D. Yes, you need, I'm telling you, I played kickball for 2 hours a day during the pandemic. I ran around in the mountains. We had fun. It's like 20 something of us we had the best time ever. People were sitting at home and then not getting, listen, when I was on the fire department, if a person hyperventilated, because they got anxious and nervous, we used to put a bag over their face because they got in too much oxygen. We put a bag over their face, why? To bring the oxygen levels down. So if you're putting a mask over your face, you think that's gonna increase your oxygen levels? Oxygen is the #1 nutrient. You can go without food for a while, you can go without water for a shorter period of time, oxygen 4 to 6 minutes and you are dead. It is the breath of life, the ruach. You get rid of that, let's see what happens.
Yes, the breath of God, come on.
And then we need to hug. Don't hug, don't touch. Man, babies, if you can feed, newborn babies, you can feed them, you can change their diaper. If you don't bond with them, they have a failure to thrive. They still
Dr. Romeo, if a leaf doesn't get a touch, a plant doesn't get a touch.
We are the branches.
Yeah.
What the heck? Come on. The invisible things of God are clearly seen by the things that are made. I talk about biological transmutation. You eat an apple, you take a bite of the apple, chew it up and swallow it. You have no more voluntary control over the apple. But that automatically the vitamin A will go to the retina of the eye, the vitamin C will go to your skin, the apopectin will go to your colon, and so on and so forth 191 times. Who's telling it where to go? The body is. This is the body's intelligence. You know what ultimately happens? That apple becomes your blood and bones and tissues and cells and organs. It becomes you. That is biological transmutation. Now, that's what we can see. See, spiritual transmutation, because what does Hebrew tell us? His word is full of life and power. Proverbs tells us his word is life unto those that find them and medicine to all their flesh. And then Isaiah said his word always accomplishes and prospers and never returns void. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And so I used to question myself, how can words be medicine to your flesh? Because people would try to make it spiritual. Oh, his word is medicine to your spirit. No, he said to your flesh. But see, just like there's biological transmutation, there's spiritual transmutation. The word does become your flesh. Like the word became the flesh and dwelt among us. That's who Jesus was. And now you're a conglomeration of words, either the culture's words or God's words. They do become your flesh and they are life and medicine. That's why at 66, I can still move around like a kid with no aches and pains. I'm telling you, aches and pains is too much acid, a lack of oxygen and inflammation. And we eat foods that creates acid, deoxygenation and inflammation. If you want to detox, alkalize. Get the good stuff in. Go back to nature. Fruits, vegetables, sprouts, nuts, and seeds. And I tell people simply, like Cassandra was saying, I have a smoothie in the morning, and I tell people eat a salad before lunch and dinner. A big salad. That way you eat less of whatever you eat. Because I'm telling you, look, if you go to Pastor McFarland's house and he's watching the football game, and he's got buffalo wings, meatballs, and pizza. At least if you eat a big salad first, You're gonna eat less buffalo wing meatballs than pizza. You know I gotta play you, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You know what?
You're
It's
not
just,
going to get that, but yeah.
I'm trying to incorporate more live foods, more alkaline foods into your diet without pushing everything else out, because if you push people too far, they're just not gonna do it. So I have my smoothie in the morning, like Cassandra was saying, and eat a big salad. And I'm telling you right now, you know what I do? I eat all raw until dinner. I eat a little cooked at dinner. And that's it.
That's
but
good.
I tell people, and the whole thing with the diabetes and the side effects, I tell people there's no such thing as side effects. Those are the effects of putting poisons that are called medications into the body. You know how they said, you may have headache, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, bleeding, coma, perhaps even death. Ask your doctor and see if it's for you. No, I don't have to ask my doctor. You just told me. But see, there's no such thing as side effects, because what are the side effects? What they call side effects are instituted by the body. They're generated by the body. It's the body saying, don't put this in me anymore.
Right.
There's no side effects. Listen, if you take the same drugs and put them in a dead person, what would happen? Nothing. There's no life in the body to resist the poison. Side effects is your body resisting this toxicity that you're putting in the body called a medication to improve your health. It's not going to happen, people. Yes, I am controversial. And yes, I'm telling you, the vaccine is not going to improve your health. I've talked to so many people, they take, oh gosh, I feel like I'm dying. I'm like, well, I didn't tell you to take it.
Every week I've been getting calls with people who've taken the vaccine saying they don't feel good, the effects of it, pray for me. Yeah. So
you know, in our community, especially the African American community, a lot of us already have these pre-existing conditions. And with that, you're adding to this vaccine, and this vaccine, even in my expertise as a gerontologist, and from what I know about how clinical trials normally work, this vaccine, the process that it went through is very atypical. That's why for me personally, I decided that I'm not taking it, that I will continue to do the things that I'm doing to keep my immune health strong, what I've been doing now for the past 5 years, and staying in remission with systemic lupus. But we really got to be careful, because all of this boils down to microwave. We want things in a snap. Yes. And life just, you didn't get this problem overnight, and you're not going to correct it overnight. For many people, they think, oh, I'm going to go to the doctor and pop this pill. I'd rather do that than to, I'm sitting at my desk right now. I got my smoothie mix. It's like, oh, I don't like smoothies. I'd rather go to get a Whopper or, whatever. Right. But that's not it.
Right.
Love yourself enough.
Yes, love yourself enough to treat your body, your mind, and your spirit with all the things that give it life, so you can give back life. I love it. Dr. Romeo Brooks from Southern California and Miss Cassandra Hill from Arkansas. Thank you all so much. I want to let our audience know that you can find them. We have one of our features is consultation. So you can find them on our platform, koji.network. Under the tab, you have to subscribe to the community for free. And then you can go to Koji shop, SHOP.net, and find Dr. Romeo Brooks, his products, many of his products on our site, which is, we're looking to build the largest Christian shopping center for products and services in the world. We're working on it. We're at the start, but we're excited about it. You'll also be able to find in the tab below information to contact Miss Cassandra Hill, as well as Dr. Romeo Brooks, and so that you can get consultation from them. But they'll only give you consultation if you're a part of the Koji, the Kingdom of God International Web Community. So with that, thank
Alert
you
from
all
Google
so
Chrome.
much.
How to
And
stock
I
a
will definitely thank you all so much. And I'll definitely let you know when this program, we premiere it, which will be in another week, so that you can let your networks know. God bless you. And we have to do this again. We have to do this again.
Absolutely. And we're going to be controversial.
We'll be controversial on the next one. Yeah. Hey, hey, Dr. Romeo, we're trying to build this network. So I'm personally trying to stay away from the controversy because it's not hard for me not to be controversial. So I'm trying to stay in the seat of a host and then let you all say everything. And right. But thank you all so much. Again, we're advocates for you. Share the network with other believers. It's about us building infrastructure, just like in Oklahoma, praise God, for us to have an infrastructure that empowers our brothers and sisters in Christ.
Thank you for tuning into A Better You program with Anthony McFarland.